Hey guys, so today I don't remember what I said I was going to talk about. I think it was thought records, I believe. It doesn't matter. We're not going to get to that. What I'm going to talk about is what we were talking about last video, which is the whole mind over mood thing. Right? You got Dennis Greenberger, who wrote a book that sold, I think, 300 million copies. So it's very popular, and it talks basically about CBT and how CBT works. And so I went through about 15 minutes of the video while I was eating, took some notes. I'm going to share them with you. First thing that's important is some definitions. What is a cognition? A cognition is basically the private self-talk that we have, or the mental monologue or dialogue that we have during our life. So during the day, or you'll realize you talk to yourself in your brain. There's self-talk going on. Another definition would be automatic thoughts. Automatic thoughts are thoughts that we have when we're in a stressful situation that come to us automatically without any sort of like control over it. We have these thoughts and they end up becoming hot thoughts. And hot thoughts are, which is leading me to a third definition, hot thoughts are thoughts that you want to kind of expose and get to the root of when you're doing a thought record. So hot thoughts are those automatic thoughts that you want to get rid of so that you will be able to manage your anxiety better. We have, for example, 60,000 thoughts a day. This is what Dr. Greenberger said. 60,000 a day. So better being able to manage them is hugely important. Now, there are assumptions with anxiety, right? You assume if-then statements. In anxiety, you have a lot of if-then statements. You believe that, if I eat food, I will notice a choking sensation in my body, located here in my chest, perhaps my throat area as well, right? I will get sick and I will choke and I will die, right? It will be this then. It will be if, right, then. And that leads to avoidance behavior. Because when you're doing an if-then statement that's not based in reality, it can get dangerous because you may think, for example, it's okay not to eat, or it's okay not to go out, with people. You can do an if-then statement with the social anxiety. If I go out with my friends to the mall, then everyone in the mall will be judging me, right? And I will make a fool. I will be looked at as a fool, right? So you have an if and a then, and the catastrophe is followed after the then. That's a lot of anxiety. Now, right. So what we do to stop the avoidance behaviors because they're unhealthy is deal with them. And how do we do that? We realize there's a relationship between between thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and moods, right? So someone might ask, well, what's the difference between a thought, an emotion, a behavior, and a mood, right? Thought would be something like, no one likes me. I'm an unlovable person. The mood would be something more of like sad, right? Or maybe, I guess, depressed. That's the mood. Your physical functioning, what would happen at that point is, perhaps you become lethargic, tired. You may eat less or more, right? You may sleep less or more. And that also has a cognitive specificity with your behaviors, which is withdrawing from other people, doing nothing or very little, right? or lacking your participation in enjoyable activities. I'll give you an example from my point of view. When I was going through stuff that I was going through with my life, I would engage in behaviors that would make me feel good more often. For example, I would eat a lot of cheese. I always eat a lot of cheese when I was younger. I was brought up on cheese. One of my first words was actually milk. I'm a huge fan of cheese. So during my depression, I would eat more of it. I remember distinctly, it would be like I would eat some food, and then usually my cheese time would usually be after dinner, right before I have like a chocolate bar. Like after dinner, I'd have like 2 slices of cheese. And I think that's a lot of cheese. And if I was really, really wanting more, right, my brain chemistry was really, really needing that dopamine and that casein and that, morphine or whatever it's in there. Look it up. It's basically the same stuff that's in heroin. I would cut a 3rd slice. So what happened is, with the depression, I would end up doing that either, more. Instead of 3 slices, I'd cut 4. I'd cut 5, right? And I told myself, oh, just make it very small. Because I was in denial. I didn't know what anxiety was. I would just say, I need more pleasure. I don't really understand what it is, though. I've been brought up on this pleasure, so might as well eat more of this. So that's the underlying assumptions of CBT. So your thoughts, your moods, your physical functioning, and your behaviors have a cognitive reciprocal effect, which means that if you change one, the other 3 more than likely will change. So let me just show you a picture of it, because it's really, really fascinating. You can see the difference between one's mood, right? Let's take a look at that. Between one's mood, thoughts, behavior, and physical functioning. Like, I had a difficulty between what is a thought and a mood. I had difficulty trying to figure that out. As you can see, your thoughts are kind of like almost the automatic negative thoughts we have. I'm no good. I'm horrible. People hate me. I'm gonna be bad. And the moods are kind of like, how you would label yourself at that moment. I feel depressed. I feel sad. I feel irritable, right? It's interesting, though, how there's a difference between thoughts and moods. Thoughts are almost automatic, and this is the underlying model of CBT, that you can control thoughts. Because a lot of people say there is no distinction between thoughts and moods. A thought is a mood is a thought. No, CBT is saying there is a distinction, and if you change your thoughts, your moods will change, and everything else will change. So, that being said, I think that everything I wanted to cover, it's one more thing I wanted to cover about guilt and shame. One more definition I wanted to talk about. Guilt is the perception that I've done something wrong. So I would feel guilty if, I lied to my dad, right? Or if I, kicked a dog. Oh my God, I would feel horrible. You know what I mean? It's something like that. Like, I would feel guilty if I, and this is more of something like private. Shame is when it enters the public sphere. Shame is the perception that I've done something wrong, or something wrong was done to me, and if people find out about it, people would understand how horrible a person that I am. So shame takes you out of the private sphere where you can be guilty about, for example, religious things or your own moral code. That's guilt. Shame is when you step outside your house and take that moral code to society and break it in society, right? So that's the difference. Shame is something that only you can you experience individually. Guilt is something guilt is the one that you assume you kind of experience individually, and shame is what you experience with other people. Like, there's collective shame. People feel collective shame about certain things. For example, you have like survivor's guilt. People who were saved. For example, there's like a plane crash and everyone dies except like 2 people or something, or 1 person. That person would feel collective sort of guilt. It would be interiorization. They would feel like they've been chosen. They may turn into a messiah complex where they feel like God chose them, or they may go the other route and say, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm the only one. My family's dead. How I can't deal with the fact that I'm the only one. The lonely feeling. The point is that you do it by yourself, right? Guilt you do by yourself, and shame you do with others. And so that's basically the end of the video. As I said, these videos aren't going to be very big anymore. There's I want to keep them short and sweet because I want to do them every day. So let's keep going on. This is very fascinating. This mind over mood thing that I've been introduced to with Mr. Greenberger. All right. So let's just leave it at that. I was gonna talk about politics. I don't know. Let's leave politics out of this. Guys. Oop. Oh, there I go. Stay with it. It went from a 5 to a 0. For anyone who's keeping track of my anxiety levels, which I guess I am, and my 3 subscribers. Okay, remember, guys, stay with it.